Hi, I'm Tricia. Being a mom was something that I wanted for as long as I can remember. For years, I prayed to become a mom. In reality, though, my first pregnancy was difficult, and I felt so guilty for not loving every minute of it, for complaining when this was an answer to prayer. At around 21 weeks pregnant, we went in for a routine ultrasound, and they said that some measurements were off, and they wanted me to come back every 2 to 3 weeks until the end of my pregnancy to have ultrasounds. Every ultrasound was inconclusive, but Google told me that the measurements were indicative of Down syndrome. So we prepared our hearts to love a baby with Down syndrome and prayed for God to equip us to do so. Because we didn't know for sure what was going to happen, we didn't want to tell many people, but the anxiety of the unknown was inevitable. So our baby boy was born 1 hour into his due date, and as it turns out, he did not have any chromosomal differences. Of course, in my perspective, he was the most beautiful baby ever born, and I just wanted to hold him and stare at him forever. As it turns out, doing that can be kind of exhausting. He did not sleep. Of course, he slept occasionally while being held or bounced or laying on my heart, and mostly he slept in 1 hour increments, but rarely on his own. I had a challenging pregnancy and a challenging baby and unmet expectations that I didn't even know I had, because I had built up this prayer and this desire of what being a mom would be like, and it was all so much harder than I thought it would be. The fatigue and the pressure of being a first-time mom led to increasing anxiety. Only at the time, I didn't really know that's what was happening. But almost daily, there'd be this moment where my arm would go like tingly numb, and my heart would race, or my chest would feel heavy like I couldn't breathe. My mind would convince itself of something that would put me or my baby in danger. Then there would be the times when the anxious thoughts resulted in tears that just wouldn't stop. I know now that all of these things were indicative of anxiety. I was having panic attacks. I really had to learn to put my pride aside and ask for help. I learned that having strong connections and community with others was essential. When Jackson was about 6 months old, we found an amazing church community, and I leaned into some friendships with other moms. Through my job, I was able to get connected with a group of like-minded moms who were in different parts of their parenting journey, but who were also Christian. Suddenly, I didn't feel so alone, and they were able to ease some of my fears and my anxious thoughts. I also had to learn some coping skills. Being a parent comes with worry, but when we surrender our children into God's hands, it becomes easier to find peace and easier to have faith that God is in control and He is a protector. I had to become aware of when my anxious thoughts were just spiraling, and I had to become aware of the physical indicators in my body that would show me when panic would set in, so that in those moments I could pause and pray and pursue peace. I'm happy to report that at 6 years old, Jackson mostly sleeps through the night, and so do I. I still struggle sometimes with being anxious, but the difference is that now I'm aware of my triggers and I'm aware of my limitations. I have coping strategies, and I have a strong community of family and friends. I'm not afraid to ask for help. I know that peace is a fruit of the Spirit, so when I prioritize my relationship with Christ, I can have faith that He can shift my perspective and grant me a peace that surpasses understanding. The thing about anxiety is it's invisible to others. If you don't let people in, if you aren't vulnerable enough to tell someone about the thoughts you're having, or physically how you're doing, then nobody knows to help. If you're struggling with anxiety, or maybe some of the things I said resonated with you, please know that you are not alone and it is okay to ask for help. I highly encourage you to reach out to a friend, a family member, a local church, or a therapist. There are plenty of people who are around to help you. We were not meant to do this life alone.